Okay, so welcome. This is the kind of first podcast that we're going to do around mental health. So you join myself, Craig Collins, fellow tutor Nathan Foley, with four of our students, all being second years in Cameron Moore. You can wave, you can say hello.
How you doing?
Joshua Halls.
Good evening.
Ellie Midgley. And Kia.
Hi.
There we go. That gives a roundup of everyone. So what we're kind to do is talking around kind of Time to Talk Day on the 4th of February is kind of all about raising awareness of mental health. So we're going to kind of discuss different things around kind of the current climate in terms of lockdown and how people have been coping and kind of individual experiences. So I'll head over to kind of Nathan. I'm going to let you take the first question, Nathan, if that's all right.
Yeah, we're just curious, guys, into knowing how is lockdown? It can be lockdown 1, 2, or 3. How it's affected your day-to-day life and how it's affected how you go about your daily businesses, not just as students but as everyday people, really.
I'd say it's impacted me massively. It's just your whole day-to-day routine has changed now because you've got to be more lenient with the distancing. You've got to be careful of everything that's going on now. You can't really go into a shop, just nip out with a can of pop. You've literally got to think it through, like, right, how can I be careful not to go near anyone? How can I be safe around here?
I think for me, it's sort of a thing like where, okay, so you've got this routine going every day, and for me, I like that routine just to keep my mind active. So having a routine sort of keeps your mind away from like any negativity and anything like that. So when everything like that goes away, and you're sat here in front of the same screen doing like online lessons, online work, it can get to you mentally, but it's all about finding the ways of distraction, whether it be, going out for a run using your daily activities, going on the PlayStation with your friends, or things like that, really, for me.
Like Moses said, with a routine as such, it's like not many people without a job or college, they have a routine. They're usually them type of people saying, just sitting in the house thinking, what can I do in day to day? So what you could suggest to people as well is like, while we're in lockdown, whether this has been in lockdown 1, 2 or 3 or future lockdowns, hopefully there isn't going to be any more as such, but we've got to think as what can we do to keep us like our minds occupied, like, and what you can help your friends out as well. Like Moses said, socializing on the PS4, like even if you're not into gaming, but like I'm sure a couple of people have gone out, met one person out of their household and played a game of football or something like that. And you've just got to think what you can do for yourself mentally, physically, or anything like that to just keep yourself occupied and not like fall into the trap of going as such as some people say downhill and then into like the dump and you just feel like you can't talk to anyone about it.
For me, it's a bit different. I've had my brother motivating me to keep me up and going and stuff like that. So I've had my brother like, he'll wake me up and he'll be like, come on, get ready, we're going out on bikes. So we get up and go out on a bike ride. It keeps me motivated instead. But even though I'm older, it should be me. But yeah, I agree with everyone. We just need to like try and think of ways that we can work around the situation and make everyone happy.
I like the fact that how you've all alluded to keeping busy and keeping active, and especially in your instance there, Kia, like relying on others, and Morsey on the socialising on the PS4, relying on others. Do you feel like with it being remotely, it's a lot more of a challenge, and you need that person in your sort of household to keep you going, or do you feel like sort of itching to get back into the college and sort of life and environment, or are you happy just sort of is what you're doing now in terms of your socialising just sort of keeping you going through?
I feel like I'm itching to get back because I feel like most of the socialising you do is start at the college, and sort of the motivation you kind of want from your peers is also at the college. You struggle to get that when you're still on remote learning, because obviously remote learning is pretty much just one person speaking on a call at a time, and then you go do the work yourself. If you have to go out of your way to message people Whereas at college, it's pretty much right behind you or right next to you. So I feel like it's just a bit more of a hassle and harder to get motivation from others. So I feel like going back would be the better course.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like going back as well, definitely, because for the most of the day, it's just me in the house by myself. I'm an only child, don't have any siblings. My mum and dad are always at work, so the key workers. So, it's usually just me in the house. So like being able to, when we went back to college, being able to see people again, socialize, like I just thought I'm going to speak to people that I never spoke to. I mean, even like Ellie will tell you, like I barely spoke to anybody last year, and now I'll speak to Ellie no problem, and like other people in the class. So going back to college for me was definitely something that needed to be done for me.
I see us going back to college as I think it'll benefit everyone, even though some people don't even like going to college as such, but that interaction with other people outside of your house, it's like me, I'm quite fortunate to still have a routine. I work Monday to Wednesday, and then we've got like college. I do my college work on a Thursday, and then we have college calls on a Friday. So I'm quite fortunate to still have that routine. When it comes to the weekend, I'm like, what can I do? And I feel sorry for like Mosey, Josh, and Kier on this like call right now, and like other students, like they've got to deal with this 24/7, 7 days a week if they don't have that routine. And it's like me, I work for my dad and my brother, so I'm constantly interacting with them, clients, and then my mum's at the side of me with her job, and it's as such as feeling like I do have that different interaction. Like none of my days are the same. It's like before this podcast I was doing project work for a client, but it's like tomorrow I could be doing stuff for ourselves. So to me, I'm quite fortunate in that I have not struggled as much. Like I've had dips, but I think for me, going back to college, it is the interaction and socializing, and it's even the physical activity, because with my routine as such, I don't have time as such. Well, it's not that I don't have time, because that's like an excuse-driven approach to it, but I see it as I work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then I feel like, do I want to go do an exercise? Do I want to do that? And it's like out where I live, there's no street lights, so I can't go out for a walk. So I feel like in physical activity aspects, I am restricted to that. So to me, even having that one lesson of practical a week, I think that just benefits everyone a whole lot more. And it's like what Morsey said. Morsey came out of his shell a lot more in the beginning of the year. And like, I'm glad he has done that, because if he might not have done that, would he have felt like he couldn't speak to me or other peers he's opened up to in the year? It's like me and Morsey in a couple of lockdowns, we've had a couple of conversations. Would he have not felt comfortable as such doing that? And if I didn't speak to Morsey that day, would he have then felt like he couldn't speak to anyone at all? So I think as well, going to college, it does get your confidence up, and having that confidence, it is the difference between you falling down in the dump or you feeling good in yourself. So I think college as a whole, interacting, it is a very big important aspect during times like these where we can't obviously like control the situation.
Brilliant.
I agree with that. Like with college, we're sat apart, but we're still around each other. We're still like interacting. We can have a laugh, we'll have a joke, even though we are getting on with our work at the same time. That keeps you going every day. You can't beat a good laugh. We all know that. But yeah, I want to go back to college.
Brilliant. That's some real good stuff to hear as well. And it's good to know that you're all kind of there for each other, you know, rather than being there physically, you're there, you know, virtually sort of thing, so to speak now. So kind of I want to touch on now is what kind of things have you done now to try and overcome some of them challenges of lockdown? So being able to kind of play sport, to interact with people. So I know, Cam, you mentioned about talking on kind of on PlayStation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Going out for walks and stuff. So can anyone give me kind of some examples of what they've done so far?
I've pretty much just thrown myself into sport and just watching it a load more. Like before lockdown 1, I just pretty much dead on. All I'd watch is football or just random TV shows. But I've managed to like throw myself into others. Like I'm starting watching F1 more, like Formula E, and I've started watching rugby. And I started like, especially between lockdown 1 and 2, I started playing golf more. So I just like throw myself out there, getting myself more active.
I think for me, lockdown 1 year it was harder to find a lot more stuff to do because in my opinion, lockdown 1 had the tightest restrictions. So a lot of it was like me just like, as I said, jumping on PlayStation with my mates, going for a run. Like you couldn't even go for a run with someone. It had to be like by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, but after that, I think August was a good month because obviously the Rovers came back. I got to watch them again, and I follow, and that kept me going a lot. Seeing them, and obviously
that's important. Be able to watch something that you're passionate about.
Exactly.
Again, it gives you something to look forward to, doesn't it?
Yeah, the performance has been good enough.
I think that's key in terms of having that thing that anchors you. Like you get out of bed in the morning, you do your exercise, and then at the minute with football being on most evenings at most time, it's something that or live sport in general just sort of gets you through your day thinking, okay, like my social contact and that is obviously taken away and limited, but there's something to look forward to. Yes, I can't do this today, but this is on tonight. And yeah, I think you hit some really good points there, guys.
But it's like what Morsey said, being passionate about a sport or a team, anything in general. It's like before lockdown, I used to go to the gym, like Nath, you used to go to the gym early mornings. Obviously, we're limited to doing that now. So during lockdown 1, that was the hardest for me as such. Like I couldn't do my exercising, my gym work, anything like that. Lockdown 2 for us, like, to me, I don't feel like we've had 2 lockdowns because we still did go to college because obviously schools, colleges and that were open. So to me, the routine stayed the same from before the first lockdown. But now, this third lockdown, it's like some people, like when national lockdown got announced, like it just went on everyone's shoulders thinking, God, we're back to square one again. That's what everyone thought. Like there's people out there, like there's different type of people who look at like national lockdown in different ways. There's people like businesses. It's like Craig yourself with your business. You can't obviously on a night after college or anything like that, you can't do your business. But it's like we're very fortunate with college that we've gone back to remote learning, everything like that. And I think with national lockdown like this one and the first one, it's just important to show an interest in something to keep yourself occupied, even if that's like watching a new TV show, but limiting yourself to it because you can't watch too much TV as such because you'll just binge it and then you'll be back to square one again. So you've got to think of something what can help you long term as such. Like Morsey said, going out for a run, he's fortunate now that if he did go out for physical activity, he can do it outside of his household with one person. So what you'd suggest is it's like, because we can't go to the gym, obviously my family, we are like heavily invested in gym because after my dad had an accident in 2012, he did put a bit of weight on, and ever since then he did want to lose weight and feel better in himself. So as a family, we did it together. Obviously lockdown stopped that. We've all like gone out of the routine. So my mum and dad, my brother who is in our social bubble, we've invested in some gym equipment so we can get into that mental mindset. It's like instead of me on my lunch break for work sitting there and thinking, what do I do apart from me? Like we're thinking, do some gym exercises, keep you like, and it's not even just for physical, it's good for your mental well-being as well because like they say, you do something physically, you feel good mentally.
Yeah.
And it's that type of feeling. It's like at college, I remember last period, every Friday, Nathan used to take us out for practical. It was literally a good end to week. You used to just, you feel like all your stress and everything just went, and you didn't, like none of us out there thought about COVID or anything like that. The only thing we thought about was, we can't mix social balls and have a big game of football or rugby or hockey, anything like that. But no one else thought about anything else. And I think that's why sport is important as such as well, because like some people say, oh, why are professional athletes still doing it and I can't go out with my mates? But they are helping a lot of people mentally as well. It's like what they're doing for their job, putting themselves at risk, the families sacrificing a lot.
Yeah, that's absolutely
everything on TV. Like, it's like if Morsey didn't have the Rovers to watch, like he didn't in the first lockdown, God forbid, hopefully Morsey didn't, but he could have gone downhill. You never know. any of us could. And I think watching sport, taking part in it, even like doing the little thing, like my mum and dad have invested in some smart fitness watches, and now they're in office standing up doing the breathing exercises, standing doing the steps. My mum says, I'm going to go get post, walk down to end it, driving back, get my steps in. And it's just even doing that type of stuff, like you can see a difference in the people closest to you. And even talking to someone, like doing it virtually, it's like we could do that Wednesday workout. Wednesday workout, doing it virtually, it's still encouraging you, and mentally it's helping you a lot as well. So I think people...
That's fantastic, what you've said there. And I think it's a really holistic view on not only sort of how, and it's nice to hear that, how college and how we're trying to help as staff, but how you're also looking wider in terms of looking after your own mental well-being. In terms of, like, if we look at college, and I know this is a bit off the track of questions me and Craig have got, but obviously you all find it, and you've established that it's a key part of your life. How have you found, and in college, you guys know that support's on hand all the time, like you just have to come and find one of us. How have you found that sort of transition onto the online learning now? Like, have you found like the support still there in terms of encouraging and looking after and helping you support your own mental well-being, really?
I think as such, the support, we all know it's there, but it's like the fact of like me, I'm quite open as a person in like messaging you, Nathan, Ben, Emma. In the first lockdown, I did it with Mark. Like I was very open in if I needed the support, I needed it, because that's the type of person I am. I can't just sit there and like be like looking at a brick wall. I have to find a way to get around the obstacle. And like my dad says, if I have to smash it down with a sledgehammer or my bare face, I'm going to find a way how to do it. I need to get through it and do it in a certain particular way. But I think some people who do struggle opening up and everything, it's like, Morsey, I don't know if like how you would see this, but say COVID and everything happened in the first year.
Yeah.
Would you have spoke to like more of your classmates, like me, for example, because we weren't as close, like we were friends in the first year, but would you have spoke to us as much?
Well, in terms of our class, the only person I had a really message with Kian. I wouldn't have thought to like message you, Josh, Callum, etc.
So it's just that of having that support and knowing you've got it as such. It's like we've got Google Hangouts. It's like in the first lockdown, I felt like, is this going to work as such? Because not many people use a laptop or computers or like Google, like that type of software as heavily as others. It's like me, it's my day-to-day life with work. But it's like someone like Nathan, I remember Nathan said to me, how does Google Hangouts work for calling someone? He asked me generally like, and I said, oh, this is how we do it. And like we worked together on that. And I think the first lockdown, college did come together quite strongly as a team. And how I think the first lockdown, like this lockdown, it is a lot more structured. We've got weekly calls and that. I think, was it every couple of weeks we had like an update call and just to check in to see how everyone was doing in the first lockdown. But still, that first lockdown, I thought how college came together and supported everyone, it was really good. And I think everyone knew that if they were going downhill, that they could have gone to like any tutor and said, right, I need support. I can't like stay quiet any longer, because that's the thing, everyone stays quiet, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the same way this lockdown as well. Like I could easily just like message one of the teachers. Like I bet Nathan's sick of asking questions about work and that. I sometimes ask the most daft questions. I bet Nathan sat there like, oh my god, why is he asking this?
There is never a daft question.
I think I've done that a couple of times.
There is. But the support's been great, and like say if I were going downhill, my mental health was off, like I could easily just message like Craig, Nathan, Emma, just anyone really, and even people from college now.
I think that like you said, you've all kind of alluded to before, like college is so much more than just education.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's that social aspect, it's that interacting with friends and building them relationships. Like say you guys have been here 2 years now, so you've got a great experience of it so far, even though it's been hit with a pandemic online learning, and not fulfilling maybe some of the other stuff that maybe previous years have done, what you've actually done is it's brought you a lot closer together, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
I think it's not only brought teachers closer to us, but I think it's brought the students closer together as well.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
I would definitely agree with that.
Like, even some at second years, like first years last year, when we were first years, we spoke to everyone in second year. We weren't bothered. And then like this year, second years are like a bit, do we speak to them, do we not? And then first years
it's about distancing as well. We've got social distancing. It's like what Kia was saying about us with the second years. We had the common room, and I feel
think it
like
shows, how much of a hub, the common room is. Yeah, I agree.
Like the first years of, I feel like they've missed out with social interaction so much. Like,
100%.
Like we were all saying, should we like go play a game of pool? Craig said you can't do that. It's contaminating everything and everything like that. And we were like, but they're missing out. Like half of us wouldn't like. I knew a couple of people in second year before, but I think colleges are such socially. It's like, as cringy as it sounds, when you're in that college, you're together as one because it's a small college. Like, like you see it on Facebook. The people you knew you didn't know a year ago today are some of the most important people in your life. And you see it as before college, like, you left school, you had a couple of friends who you stayed in touch with. But it's like, I could see myself speaking to some of these people from college for like a good couple of years. It's not just going to disappear overnight. And I think the pandemic as a whole, it has brought us closer together. Because we felt like we needed that support of each other and just bringing us together as one. Because, like, as Boris Johnson has said in all the announcements, we need to stick together as a country and a nation to fight it off. And, like, in the first lockdown, we did it. And we started coming back to normal. Like, there's been some, like, discussion saying, Boris hadn't done his job right and everything. But you've got to think as well, like, we are just trying to figure it out. And, like, you don't know what tomorrow's going to hold and everything. So I think as well, you've got to not stay quiet about anything because anything could happen tomorrow. Exactly, I think continuing with, like, I think this virus as well and the pandemic has like opened up some people's perspective so much. Like, it's made people consider the, like, changing the goals in life, wanting to do stuff faster, or like wanting to make plans and memories quicker, and just having more people. It's like some people thought, I'll keep my circle small, everything like that. But in this pandemic, I think some people have opened the circle up a lot more to more people because it's not just for themselves of that having that support, but it's giving each other support. It's like seeing other people struggling. Like, I'd hate to think that anyone in our groups at college would just like look at your struggle. And I think this pandemic has just brought us all together so much. And like, we all look at each other now saying, are you all right? Do you need this? Like, what they call it. I think one of the people in our group, in our class the other night, put in the personal statement because some people are struggling for university. So it's even just doing these little things, like what could be literally on someone's shoulders so heavily and in the back of their mind. And it's like little things, like a little trigger, it can push you over the line as such. And then you just think, I've had enough, I can't do it anymore as such. And I think college, the community, it's like I said before Christmas, we broke up. A couple have said, me, Mosey, Callum, Luke, we all said the like strength and like the team you have at college, like staff, you've never seen like a group, like a department as strong as they are. And I think if it wasn't for how close you were in your circle, I don't think lockdown would have been as easy as it would have been.
Yeah, and we like massively appreciate that. And I think something we try to instill as staff is to build that community within college. We know we're small in comparison to others, and it's nice to see that you guys have taken that community vibe from your learning, from your classrooms, and used it to put it into this lockdown life, and actually used it to support your own mental health. And I think that's fantastic, and it part answers my next question in terms of like what sort of stuff you've been doing to keep yourself mentally fit. So obviously you've been relying on each other a lot. But I'm just wondering if there's like anything else you can add to sort of what you've been doing, like exercise and that, but to keep yourself mentally fit on top of your college work and stuff like that.
I think with lockdown and keeping yourself occupied, you've got to show an interest in something to keep you occupied. There's no point in doing something because it'll make you feel mentally worse. Showing an interest in anything, even if that's like every night or every day, I'll allocate so much TV time. And then I think just planning your days out helps a lot. Like some people know, right, Thursday, Friday or Monday, Tuesday, whatever group you're in, right, that's college. I've got to think of 5 other days of the week. So one day, if they completely want, could binge and watch TV. The next day, go to supermarket. It's like even little things going to the supermarket. I know some people are scared with the social distancing and that, but it's like every Wednesday for me, every morning, I take half a day off and I go and do the weekly shop. Because I say to my dad, I need to go out somewhere. I need to go. I can't stay in the house. And it's like, my mum always has a go at me, oh, you forgot that. Yeah, I'll get that next week. I'm going next week. And it's just that routine. And it's just, I feel like people need to, even if it's boring as such, like I don't enjoy going to the supermarket. I really don't. But it's how long does it, like traveling there, it's 20 minutes. Traveling back, it's 20 minutes. That's automatically just say 45 minutes with a bit of traffic. Then what they call spending an hour in there, you've spent literally 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's your full morning, you could say.
It breaks up your day, doesn't it? It breaks up your day. You're not
100%.
Like Cam, like you were saying, like you're on your own. Like obviously,
yeah, exactly.
Working, like them 4 walls that you're sat in, you could be in there for quite a while. So things like going out for a little walk or going to the supermarket or that sort of thing just breaks it up a little bit and keeps you a little bit more kind of mentally fresh, so that when you do come to your college work, you can look at it with fresh eyes, sort of almost, can't you, and stuff.
Yeah, I was watching something actually, and it said whenever you start to get like bad energy or like bad sort of developing thoughts in your mind, like just any negativity really, go and switch up your environment. So say if I'm sat here doing work and I start to get all these negative thoughts, stress, whatever, even going to like go and wash my hands, that is change it up and completely. It's completely switching up your mindset.
Fantastic. Yeah. Keir, have you found that with your brother motivating you and getting you out on bike rides and runs and whatever? Like, have you found that to be the case, following on from what Cam said?
Kind of. Like, fortunate for me, I've got my brother like the similar ages. We both play rugby. We can play together. Like, we can have a joke about and go to a field nearby and play. And like, we've got other stuff we can distract ourselves because we can be together, and like we've got a good relationship with each other. So obviously Cameron can't because he's an only child, but for some people they can use the siblings as a benefit, and I do that a lot.
Okay, do you feel like that's kind of brought you closer together?
Yeah, I think it has. We were quite close anyway, but because we are like, there's like a year and a half between us, so like we are close anyway. But it's definitely brought us closer.
I do agree with Keir on that 100%. It's like first lockdown, my brother's 2021, like we work together. Like it was always like, he used to say, oh, I should, like every Saturday, you always go get a chippy. Me and my brother used to go get chippy together. It's having that relationship and bond with someone. But now my brother's moved out, I'm FaceTiming him every day, and I've never FaceTimed or rang him or communicated with him on my phone as much as I ever have. And I think he's fed up of like seeing my name pop up on my phone.
That's interesting to know that it's come out of a situation that we're in that's so unfortunate and quite sad at times. Like you've managed to develop that sort of relationship that without COVID would never, and clearly it's helping you mentally.
It's like Kia, what she was saying, with going out with a brother and like being active with a brother. Like she said she had a close relationship before, but a brother saying, right, get out of bed, don't stay in bed all day, it's going to make you feel work. And I think having that close bond or like relationship with someone in your household, even if that's a cousin who you could like socially distance with, I think it is very important that you do have good relationships with people who you can.
Yeah. I think sometimes a lot of it is just telling yourself things as well. So like if you're feeling down or whatever, because before lockdown, I'm all right to say this, that I used to stress and think like and care about everything in life. I used to care about like what my friends were doing, like even like what my ex-girlfriend was doing, because I felt jealous and stuff like that. And it was so pathetic. It was so pathetic. And looking back, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? But during lockdown, I was like, okay, I just need to sit here and go, actually, none of this matters. Sometimes in life, obviously not in all situations, it's just about having a laugh and just like, and having that weight off your shoulders and just being able to just talk to people, have a laugh. It does help so much. And like, as someone who struggles with like, well, not struggles, but like who's had history with like anxiety and things, it's so important to not add to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And you can only control so much. Like, you know, like people say this like all the time, like things happen. Things do happen. Yeah. And sometimes no matter what you do, that thing would have happened, or, you know, and you can't control that. And you sat there worrying about every scenario under the sun.
Exactly.
It's probably not going to help, you know.
No, absolutely not. No, trust me, it doesn't.
So I want to kind of round off now. So the kind of last question that I want to kind of leave with is, if you were to give your younger self some advice on kind of mental health and well-being, what would you say to a younger you? What would you say?
Let's kick off with you, Josh. You've not.
I think
quiet for you.
Yeah, I know. Sam took a quiet. I think the advice I tell myself is just to ride it out to the end and don't really give up at the first hurdle, because, like, especially in secondary school when I first started, I was like heavily bullied, and I thought at times it's going to go downhill. It's just not going to go well. But I just thought if I keep riding this out, just keep going through it, it'll get better, and it has tremendously. Like I've stopped caring what other people think. I've just got on with my life, and just going from like year 8 to 11, it's just brought more confidence into it, just not caring what people think. And now that
you look at sort of by having that mentality and just keeping focused and on that challenge, you're now in a position where like your whole university offers, you've had marketing work experience with the football club, and it has, like, seeing from my perspective, seeing you come in as that kind of shy student at the start in year 12 to see where you're at now in terms of where you're heading. It's it's been really good. So I agree with that mentality, Horse.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, now that I'm quite close to the destination, it's just making me appreciate about how hard I've been throughout the journey. Because I think a lot of people in my shoes would have just given up and stopped. But I think I'm quite proud of myself just to keep going, just keep pushing through it.
Yeah, I agree with him. Like, going across and trying to like push yourself as much as you can to make yourself happy every day. It can be a challenge, but you just need to keep going. Like, no matter what, no matter how low you feel, you just need to keep going. Like, even my watch, it tells me all the time. It'll come up saying, you've got 215 steps left, carry on going, keep going. Or you've slept for a certain amount of time, get up, keep going, push yourself to the limit. Even my watch gives me motivational things, and it does get you going. Like, I've just had one then, you've got 215 steps, you need to up your steps in the next hour. And just little things that get you, like, you just need to have them. Yeah.
Them little boosts.
Small things that matter.
Small wins, Nathan Cole. Yeah. Small wins.
Just one thing I want to add: if like none of what we've said is like can help or whatever, just if there's one thing you can take from it, from this experience that we've all had to experience, or just from this podcast, is just know that there's light at the end of every tunnel, and anything, and I repeat, anything gets better. From where I've come from, I know I keep referring to myself a lot, but from where I've come from in March to now, I can genuinely say I'm proud, and I'm genuinely not the same person as I am in March, and I prefer who I am now from where I was in March when this lockdown first happened. So yeah, there's a light at every end. Let me start again. the light at the end of every tunnel, and everything gets better. Negativity doesn't last forever, man.
That's that.
Yeah.
Good. Go on then, Ellie. Just to finish off with, then, what one last piece of advice would you give to yourself as a young Ellie, thinking about your kind of experience now and mental health and stuff?
Yeah, I'd just say keep yourself occupied. It's one thing. It's some people find it difficult, but just any little thing what you can as possible. And like Moses said earlier on, don't let the little things get on top of your shoulders, because it'll just eventually keep weighing up and you'll just feel like you can't turn to anyone. Also, make sure you use all your resources as well. It's like not many people are due support at college. Like, I saw an email pop up from Ben about the mental health line. And it's like, I don't know if it was on that email or some like an article, because there's been like more cases of mental health throughout lockdown, but it's like 1 in 6 people every week suffer and experience something like bad with mental health. And it's like, even like your colleges sending out that email, like I felt a bit down the other week and I saw that email come through and I thought, oh, I've got the support there. And just knowing that you've got them support, like don't hesitate. Like I'm sure if I message Nathan at 12 o'clock tonight saying, I need a call, he'd respond literally first thing in the morning, he'd see it and then he'd be like, right, when do you want to call? When can we do? And Nathan, he'd come up with a plan. Right, we'll have check-in calls, everything like that. And I'd just say, use your resource around, use your people, your peers, like relationships and friendships, like they all come and go. But I think right now, don't just push people away when people are trying to help you, like keep people and like just appreciate what you've got, because at the moment, like some people have lost people down to this situation. And I think, just think like you have still got people, like even if you didn't think you did before this time, like just like reach out and like just look. And like Moses said, and like it sounds a bit cringy, but we will get through it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. And you know, us here as staff, as a sports college, we are all here for each other. So if anyone is ever struggling, our door is firmly well open, you know, and if anyone does have any problems, then they can get in touch with us. And if we can't help, we'll know someone who can.
100%.
Absolutely
Thank
fantastic.
you so much, guys. That was fantastic.
Thank you very much for your time. Really do appreciate it. And I hope these kind of messages reach other people. And again, if you want to get in touch with us, then you know where to. All right. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, guys. Well done.
See you later. Adios.
Same time next week.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.